One thing that took me a while to comprehend about life is the fact that if it shattered you once, it'll shatter you again, but just in a different way. I feel like oftentimes we put ourselves in a position to heal, whether it's from heartbreaks or just trauma, things that we may go through. And after that healing process is over, we revisit the exact things that hurt us, expecting a different result. But I want you to know that just because you're in a different place mentally doesn't mean that that environment or that person is in a different place. Going back to the things that broke you is not a part of healing. And true elevation starts when you don't feel the need to get closure. Because all closure is itself is just validation. You wanting things to make sense in your head. Why did this person hurt me? Why did I have to go through this when I may have done everything possible to please them? And the truth is, the questions that you have may never be answered. Because if there was any justification to why this person may have done those things, then they probably wouldn't have even done it in the first place. And it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's something that you just have to accept. And something else that I really want you to take in is the fact that pain doesn't just go away simply because time passed. Time itself can numb certain things, but it doesn't erase it. And it's so sad because revisiting the source is something that we believe can help us get that closure that we need. But all it does is reopen the wound. And then at that point, you realize that you never fully healed from certain things. So I feel like more importantly, growth and elevation comes with not necessarily needing an explanation for why things turned out the way that they did, but trusting that God has something better in store for you, whether you may realize it right now at this moment or not. Knowing that sometimes you got to understand that what broke you was a teacher, not a home. It was meant to build your strength, but it wasn't meant to become your home. And I even had this problem within myself because I had to get to the point where I realized that if it does not bring you peace, then ultimately it is not meant for you. Whether it's somebody that you love, whether it's an environment, if it is not serving you in the ways that are helping you grow and feel, good about yourself and content with what you have going on, then all it's meant to do is help build you into the person that you need to be in order to attract what's actually for you. And you have to take yourself out of the position to believe in that simply because things are familiar, that they're for you. Just because it may feel known does not mean that it's safe. Comfort is not always peace. Sometimes it's fear in disguise. Things that you may be afraid to actually get out and do. People that you may be afraid of actually letting go. All disguised as comfort. What you believe has been around so long that it has to be meant for you. This person's been here for 10, 15 years. I know that there's some type of deeper meaning or some deeper reasoning behind it. And yes, that person may have already lived up to what you're supposed to get from them, and that was growth and elevation. But you stringing them along further isn't doing anything but postponing what's actually for you. And most importantly, what you have to understand is growth requires boundaries. Going back to something that broke you, all it does is signal that your standards are negotiable. It gives this person the green flag to treat you how they want to treat you, to move how they want to move, but your standards and your expectations for the love that you want, these things are not negotiable. You have to be firm on it. And you learn how to do this when you have a sense of self-respect, when you love yourself, when you care about how you're perceived, not allowing people to walk all over you because you have a sense of being and self-worth. That's all it is. And as sad as it may sound, history does not equal harmony. I was somebody who believed that simply because we had so much time spent together, so many years, where I may have been in a position where it may have felt like love, that deep down inside, this is where I needed to be. But I never truly grew until I was willing to let go. And then you start to see what's actually for you. If that person is meant for you, then they will come back. And not only will they come back, but they'll come back in a different mental state to where they can meet you where you need to be met, so that you guys can grow on a different frequency. But just because you share the past does not mean that you have to share a future. And that's what I really want you to understand. And eventually, as you put yourself in a position to go through the motions, you'll realize that the same triggers will create the same response. If the root issue has not changed, neither will the result. Healing itself does not come from returning to someone. It comes from rising above whatever it is that you may have went through that hurt you, and elevating, acknowledging the weaknesses or the flaws or whatever it is that you may have dealt with, and then putting yourself in a position to overcome those things. If you want to return, at least return in a completely different mental state, to where you can't allow somebody to attack you in a certain way and get away with it. Where you have standards, where you have a sense of self-respect and you don't put up with anything. Because when you do, if this person isn't meeting you where you need to be met, then you will walk away because it is not worth jeopardizing your peace. Keeping in mind that going back in general is going to drain momentum. It's going to be a reminder of a version of you that simply may not exist anymore. Each and every time that you revisit what broke you, you delay the life that's trying to unfold ahead of you. You cannot move forward if you're constantly revisiting the past. And that's the way that life works. You have to make a conscious decision whether you want to stay present in this moment or if you want to backtrack. And if you're somebody like me, you probably have to learn the hard way, because I did. I backtracked so many times. I bumped my head, I would go through something and I would realize, and after around the 4th or 5th try, I would have to accept it. But I'm making this video today because I don't want you to be that type of person. I want you to be the type of person that values and respects yourself enough to not risk it, to understand that it's simply not worth it. Putting yourself first for once, and doing the things that are ultimately going to help you elevate. You gotta understand that peace does not live where pain is tolerated. You cannot truly be at peace while going through pain. If somebody is breaking you, if they're bringing the worst out of you, that is not where you need to be. And the one thing that you have to realize is that the damage is already done. You cannot change anything about the past, and the script is already written, whether it's written the way that you want it to or not. But closure itself does not come from a conversation. It comes from acceptance. Accepting things for how they were, even if there was things that you could have done differently. Not really holding yourself to those things, but just realizing that it's over. There's nothing that you can do at this very moment besides elevate and grow, and never put yourself in a position to revisit that old version of yourself again. Leave whoever it is that you need to leave in the past, because it's not worth jeopardizing and risking your future. There's not enough love in the world that should cost you peace of mind. It is not worth it. But freedom comes when you can finally choose yourself. When you can look yourself in the mirror and realize, like, okay, I am enough. I don't have to constantly be in a relationship where I need to be validated. I can be by myself and feel whole. I can build and I can work on becoming the best version of myself without necessarily needing people around me. That should be your main focus. Not revisiting the past, not opening old wounds and then having to go through a second healing stage over things that you ultimately already overcame and you look past. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say keep your head up and keep going. Be conscious of the decisions that you're making. Even if you are somebody that's revisiting the past, you got to understand and ask yourself, is it worth it? And if it is to you, then just learn at your own pace and at your own speed, and be willing to accept things for however they turn out. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching the video. It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.